Buster. Here, Blueberry. And there's Maggie. Oh, and here's this beautiful park. Oh, and a beautiful fall day it is. We're going to get some pictures of some wildlife today. It's just kind of misty and it's not raining, but it's fall, guys. But it has been raining and it's damp, cloudy and misty. Look at this beautiful park that I live at. My cabin is just around the bend right there, and this beautiful, I'm right in this park. It's just an amazing circumstance that the Lord's given me to stay for a short while. I get to see all this beauty before I go to New Mexico. And so, this here is an ancient Native American temple that the people in the Civil War commandeered and turned into a fort. But this is ancient mounds. So we're on you see how this is all level, a raised area here? This is an ancient holy site. And it's a beautiful place, a lot of beautiful trees. And wait till you see where we're going today. I've come up here before. Oh, there goes a squirrel. I don't know where that squirrel went around the other side of the tree. But we've come up here. And normally we just come up in here and walk around and stuff. And go over to that lookout. And we'll go over to the fence and look over to the lake or whatever that is. But today we're going to take another little trail that I have found and follow the lake down through a beautiful trail. And oh, it's going to be neat. There's another one of these kinds of things over the ocean, or over the ocean, over the lake there. All these trees are so beautiful. I wish you guys could see how big these trees are, because in the camera they don't look as big. Not as big as that one that Rob Lapine showed the other day, but not even half as big as that one, but it is a biggie for this little spot right here. It's kind of, I just like big trees. This whole thing is in some sort of an ancient, like, pyramid or something. It's just nothing but a mound left there. There's even a moat that probably the Civil War people did. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good sized tree here. Oh my goodness, that's a big one out over there too. Oh wow, I'm just so fascinated with Alabama. It's so beautiful. I'm so glad I got to really stay a while here and experience the beauty. We're gonna go down here and follow there's a trail down here I found. I didn't have my camera earlier this morning. I took the dogs for a walk, so I was busy this morning dealing with another controversy over the earth being flat or round. And of course it's a globe, and so this guy has been, it's amazing how much these guys get away with. The militant flat earthers, they're just so vulgar and militant, obnoxious, and they lie so much, and the unsuspecting children are believing their lies. I'm gonna do another counter video, just not because I like getting into a tit for tat with these idiots, but because they're deceiving so many people. And I think for a lot of people who are trying to help explain the actual science behind what's going on here on the earth, and the motions and the size and the shape, they kind of give up after a while, because everybody just gangs up on you and goes, nanny, nanny, ha, ha, ha. You know, it's just so... They call you all kind of names, they condemn you, they spit at you, they laugh, and put a crown of thorns on your head and stick you up on a cross. But I don't mind, I'll bear it. I'll go on there for the children to make a few more points, so that, you know, because, see, first off, it's just so many lies going on. He comes on my channel after I made the video about him. I challenged him to a debate. And I'd already done that some time ago. And he declined. He didn't want to. It's pretty interesting, because he debates, I guess, like somebody once a week. And he's always on Santos, and he's always on other people's. Of course, they're all friends, right? They all come and there's I mean, it's like they got a whole bunch of people that are all like, have the, you know, one for all and all for one, like the Three Musketeers. They get together, they do shows together, and they laugh and mock all the world and the science and that stupid Bible, you know. They've got this, they read some books that somebody published in, you know, 1850 or something, by some Bavarian, and they think that's the gold standard. Some book about, you know, salts or something, or I forget what they call that, or a book about some wild theory, the earth is hollow, or the earth is flat, or these weird theories that have come up in the, you know, here in the recent future, you know, history. And they go by these books, these theories. There never were any theories like that that had survived, you know, in ancient times. Aristophanes and Aristotle and Pythagoras and all the ancient ones believed the earth was a sphere. Look at this, guys. So while we're talking, or walking, I'll talk about it a little bit today, but I'm going to do another video, because there's a lot of these flat earthers aren't going to watch this nature walk. They probably don't like nature much, because it would definitely prove that the earth was round. We live in a beautiful world, a big world, not a little flat earth inside of a snow globe. They've condensed the world to a little snow globe. We're living inside a vault or something, you know. And there's no stars above us. There's no infinite universe. There's no laws of science. Only their laws that they've come up with recently, you know, in their own little mind or in their basement. But he comes on there and he says, I'll debate you. You know, he starts calling them names and saying things that aren't true. And I said, okay, let's go. Sure, we'll debate. You know, we'll do that. And he goes, okay, good. And I said, okay, so just tell me when, what's the date? Give me the date and time. And I wait for a few hours, and I go back and I look, and nothing there. He didn't answer. And so I'm looking through the comments, and I find out he's over on some other comment now. You know, he's shifted over in another area, and he's like, how come you don't accept my offer to debate you or something? And I'm like, wait a minute, I just did, but it's over where you left me. Now you're on another comment claiming I didn't accept you, and I didn't agree. So in that area, I go ahead and say, yes, I've accepted it. Tell me when and where. And he goes, forget it. I ain't going to debate you. You're a vile person. You know, you're crazy. I'm not going to debate you. I'll just make my own little video and prove that you're all wrong. And I get, okay, so are you backing out? And he wouldn't answer. But of course, he just backed out. So then I got all his little Muppets come on, you know, his little followers. They're all attacking me like, you didn't accept his offer, you're chicken. No, read the comments. I did accept. I'm ready to go. I haven't gotten an email because I told him to send me an email with the link. I'll click on it. Whatever time you wish, I'm available. And we'll have a debate or a discussion. But the reason he doesn't want an actual discussion with me is because he knows that I would win that discussion. The only way he can counter, he has to counter what I did because it was too, you know, for people who are rational, it probably changed, you know, if there were any doubts in some people's minds, I'm sure it changed their minds, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. The Earth is a globe. And this doesn't want to get very clear, does it? So he's like, well, can't just leave that out there. Looks like he won, right? And he doesn't have much to say about it. He can't like counter it in person with me, you know, because it would make him look bad, because I would just present facts, and he can't argue with facts. He needs to have his own little arena where only he gets to call witnesses, and it's like a modern day court where the government is against us and we're the plaintiff or something, and it's against the state. The state brings out, they've got billions of dollars, they can bring out all kinds of witnesses. They've got highly paid individuals that go investigate. Now they're not really investigating, they're trying to find something against you. They're scouring the world to find something to make you look bad. Or, you know, they're not trying to... Isn't this beautiful? Oh my goodness. There's a fisherman out there. This is where I live, guys. Isn't this amazing? Am I on candid camera or what? I mean, look at this. Look at... I got these beautiful puppies. Here's Maggie and Buster and little Blueberry. I call that a hound. I think that's a shepherd or something. And that, I think that may be part husky, but he turned out a black husky or something. Almost looked like a chow. But look what the Lord provided for me. I had no idea where I was going. My daughter, you know, was out here, and she's like, Dad, I found you a little cabin over here, and you can stay there for a short while until we find something better. I'm like, you know, I just want to be nearer to my daughter. So I went over. She had made the lease and signed the lease for me. So I came over here. Sight unseen. I thought, oh, yucky. I was going to go to the East Coast. I thought it was yucky over there. You know, I was always told that it's beautiful in the West and the mountains, but they don't have mountains out here. What's that? Yeah. What's that? They don't have beautiful lakes and streams and rivers and trees. Oh, buddy, they got wildlife, all kinds of beautiful things here. And I thought it would be, you know, so humid you couldn't stand it. And there'd be bugs and snakes and everything. And I haven't seen but maybe one snake or something. I can't remember. And haven't been bothered by bugs much at all any more than in Idaho. I used to have a lot of mosquitoes in Idaho. But it's delightful. I've seen some beautiful things here. You guys have probably seen some of the videos that I've taken. But this is where I live. I'm like half a mile through the field over there. It's my cabin, and I live on this beautiful, you know, anyway, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be bragging, but I'm so happy that I get to witness this, you know. So, I get to come out here every day and take a little walk. I can take a drive 30 miles and go into most beautiful canyons, mountains, and cliffs, and rivers and lakes. And my dogs are happy here. Well, little Buster, he's cute in a bug's ear. But so I mean, I can't even think of all the things that's been going on, and I don't want to just sit here and tit for tat with all this going on, but here comes one of those trains. They've been coming non-stop for the last several days. They quit for a while. They were real heavy about a week or two ago, and then they started up again. But anyway, this guy is playing some kind of game because he's like, I'll debate you, but then he backs out, but he won't. He tries to pretend he didn't back out, and then he's going and telling everybody that I backed out. And then there's all these people that come on that are like followers of his that are going, ha ha ha, you backed out, you're a chicken. So it doesn't bother me much. I don't really care. I just probably leave him alone and ignore it, except, what is that in the water? Saw one of those the other day. Sorry guys. There's something big in the water that goes through. Sorry, I got an itch on my. I'm trying to see if I can figure out what that was over there. Maybe that was a duck. I don't know. It looks very blurry. Yeah, that's a duck there. Something. Okay, there's something right there. Maybe those are ducks and it's just so blurry you can't see them. Looks like some kind of fish or something in the water over there. So he made his own video, and I've had a few people, well, if you go in on the video and you look at the comments, just about everybody in his comment section are, of course, flat earthers. They're on his channel, and they're very nanny, haha, that Dave's an idiot and all that. And you go over to my channel and look in the comments, and I think most of them are kind of pro-globe and thank you, Dave, but there's still some of these flat earthers that come to my channel and they attack me over here on my channel. Maybe that's because they delete all my good people. If anybody comes, I remember I noticed on Jeffrey Dahmer's channel, the people that would call in that were pro my side or pro Jesus or anything, he just tells them, you son of a, you know, what, you hateful, you know, whatever, and he just won't let them talk, and he just hangs up the phone, cuts the call off, and if anybody comments, he won't show the comment, he deletes it, and then he blocks them. And I've had to block a few people myself, some real big haters, you know, just tearing up the comment section with just comment after comment of, you're evil, I hate you, you're stupid, you don't want this kind of smoke up your, he's gonna, you know, they like the phrase smoke up your whatever. They think I don't want that smoke. Of course I don't want this argument. I wish I could just forget you idiots and stop talking about it. But you're under such a delusion. I know it's like talking to someone who's transgender and trying to explain to them that that's not natural. That they shouldn't have holes in their body or mutilate themselves, or that I know it's difficult for some of you. Probably a lot of you that are flat earthers are also maybe transgenders or something. By the way, guys, you don't want to believe in any logic, right, from the past, or any normal things that we've accepted for centuries, like there's such a thing as history, or that Jesus is real. Basically, it's the Antichrist teachings. But by the way, about as far as talking about transgenders and LGBTQ or whatever they call them now, the story with Pelosi. Now, I'm not allowed to say right straight out what I am trying to say, because they will take this video down. There's a big ban on what really went down over there. The guy that was at Pelosi's their house, that they claim was some conservative that went over there with a hammer and assaulted him or something and tried to kill him, assassination attempt or something, Turns out that he's a BLM person. He works for Pelosi. He's a friend. He even said to the dispatcher on the phone, it's a friend. And said, call Nancy or something. Well, he's also what can we say? Someone who likes the same sex in their relationships. And it's been known for a while that Nancy Pelosi's husband is also a whatever. That's just a statement. That's just facts that people can look up. So anyway, evidently, he had the guy over for some entertainment, let's say that. We don't know much more than that, but he was there invited. He didn't break in. And they got into a big argument or a lover's tiff or something. And I think Pelosi picked up the hammer. Like people do, like pick up a hammer or get out of my house, or they had an argument. And the guy's like, I'm not leaving, and he struggled with him to get the hammer because he was scared that Pelosi was going to hit him with it. I know, when the truth comes out, but I don't think the truth will ever come out in this side of the kingdom. But so they struggled with it, and at that point the cops came in, and it's not like the guy attacked him. He was invited, and it was like the guy was actually being attacked. Anyway, I can't say anymore. Somebody might get mad and they'll take this down. So, on to what we were talking about. So, bottom line is, Mr. Weiss made some points. And I'm just dumbfounded that people are satisfied with these explanations. When he got to, ooh, there it goes again. That's a duck doing that. I seen it that time. Anyway, as far as the sun going down over the horizon, his argument is that it's some kind of an optical illusion that it's going down. That they're going behind the clouds and therefore you can't see them anymore. But sometimes there are no clouds. What about on a clear day, Mr. Weiss? And so that doesn't make sense. If the Earth is, we don't know how big the plane of the Earth is, okay, by looking at it. But what we do know is it's not that far to China. And when the sun is not here, it's in China, right? And then 12 hours later, it's back over here. So we know that the circumference of this sun is not more than about 24,000 miles, or 12,000 each way. We know that for a fact. And so if this big old sun, even if it's only 3 28,000 or 30,000 miles in the air, or whatever 30 miles. I don't know how 30,000 miles. I don't know what their going figure is, that the sun is up above us. It would have to be, you know, up there quite a ways, just above the clouds, all right? If it can be seen, they always show you this circle, this flat disc, and they show that on one side of the globe it's light, which we see. You can visibly see that, like on the moon. Like you get a half moon, half the moon's dark, half is light. So why would a round ball spinning around like a top, over the top of a flat disc, why would it cause one side of the Earth to be light and the other side to be dark? Oh, that's because the light's on the one side as it's going around. Okay, but it would be a round area of light, not a entire half moon or half Earth. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If the sun was directly above, if you're on the equator and the sun's directly above you but on the right side of the globe where it's light, and the people on the left side of the disk is dark, why is the sun shining all the way down to the South Pole and all the way up to the North Pole during the day on one side of the globe, or disk if you want to say that, but on the other side of the disk it's all dark, right? There's darkness in Alaska too, and there's darkness in Paraguay, right? On the western hemisphere. But in the eastern hemisphere, like Australia and China, up around Japan, it's light. We know that the light travels from east to west. I hope you guys can comprehend what I'm saying. It does not make any sense with all of the facts. But now imagine you believe that the Earth is just way up there spinning around and around like a corkscrew, right? It gets tighter, and therefore it's closer to the center for 6 months, and then it kind of unwinds like a corkscrew, and then it's further out during the winter, therefore providing more light to the outer edges, right? Okay. But if that were the case, what is causing the moon and the sun to rotate? There's absolutely no, well, we just don't know, Dave. But you see, there wouldn't be any logical reason for a big ball to be floating over top of a big disc. There's no scientific logic that would say that's probably why it's... I mean, we haven't even got a clue as to why that would be. There's no scientific... there's no scientific law that we've come up with, or any mysterious force that would cause a big ball of fire to just fling around in the sky like a corkscrew above us. And exactly, like for thousands of years, you get winter and summer, and all the seasons and everything. So sometimes they use what facts that they're aware of to suit them, and sometimes they don't. So they don't seem to understand that there's two different motions. There's rotation and then orbit. So we understand that as globe people. We understand there's these two motions. One of them causes seasons and one of them causes day and night. They don't always seem to understand that because they don't have all the facts. They just use the facts wherever it suits them. But we understand why. You don't have to believe our theory, or the theory of all mankind for thousands of years. I mean, everyone, every scientist, every historian, everybody, every sane person believes the Earth is a globe, because most sane people have gone to school and they understand math, and they understand a lot of things. They've read history. No, the Bible doesn't say that the Earth is flat, but that it's a round ball, and that the ancient esoteric wisdom does teach that it's a sphere, that it's a round ball. They don't know that. They don't know that ancient wisdom, so they just take verses out of context, like the Earth is immovable and shall not be made to totter. It's talking about, doesn't say that the Earth is immovable. That's a complete lie, and certainly doesn't mean that it doesn't rotate or that it doesn't orbit. It's not saying the Earth can't move. What about earthquakes? Oh, it moved, you know. But it, you know, it's pretty obvious that something's moving, right? And they have no explanation as to what the stars are. They admit that. They don't know what they are. See, so they have to say they don't know, because if they ever got tied down to something, their theory wouldn't work. They have to have a lot of loose ends. So, in their estimation, they just see this round ball going around. They just say, oh, well, it's got to be over a disk because we said so and you can't disprove us. Well, we can, but you need a little math and a little education. That's something you don't have. But on the globe model, we have laws of physics, Newtonian physics, that actually work on paper. Newton was not an idiot, guys. And so we understand this formula, E equals mc squared. I know it's a big formula for you guys. I know you don't understand how you could use these mathematical formulas like calculus to understand velocity and speed as something that's different. I don't think people even understand what equilibrium is, or centrifugal force and why that happens. I mean, they're talking about all kinds of different forces. And so they say, well, the water would just fly off the earth if we were going in different directions all at once. Not at all. Once certain motions are constant, like you have one motion going at 100 miles this way an hour, and there's another so this object's going at 100 miles an hour. All right, so you have this object that's going this way at 100 miles an hour. Okay, but then you say, but then this whole solar system's moving itself like this. And then the galaxy's moving like this. And then the whole galaxy's moving like this. So there's all these different forces. There's no way that the water would stay on the ground, because they say if you're in a car and you're driving at 60 miles an hour and all of a sudden you slam on the brakes, the tea spills out of the cup. Well, that is such a childish understanding of these laws. In fact, they don't apply the laws. They're just trying to use some sort of uninformed jargon about laws they don't understand to try and deceive unsuspecting poor little individuals who don't know what to think. They've never thought this thing through. It's a large, like I said, it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. I mean, there's a lot of forces and things. I mean, we have to find an explanation of why that sun's going around and around and around up there. They have done. I mean, if you've thought about it, the way they're talking about the sun going around like a corkscrew, it's almost like as if it's hanging from a string and somebody's like a volleyball and they've swung it. All right, so then it just goes around and around. Wouldn't it eventually come to rest? What's making it continue to move unless the whole thing has got some sort of motion and these other motions, and there's laws that cause these motions that they don't know what these laws are. So we have laws in science that explain the universe and why what comes up must go down. Everything that's moving in a certain direction, at a certain speed, a certain velocity will continue in the same speed and velocity in the same direction until acted upon by another force. This is a Newtonian law. They don't know anything about any of these laws. Okay, so they can't explain it, so they say, well, we don't know. But it's pretty obvious that it wouldn't make any sense just to say that we're on this little localized disk. Okay, there's no laws of gravity, right? Just because somebody doesn't have the expertise to quickly explain gravity to you. I could explain it to you, but we'd have to have a show for about an hour just talking about gravity. I could explain gravity to you so that you could understand it. I think I've already kind of explained it to you in the video before. But they don't know any of these laws, and they don't understand any of this. They're like, well, what's gravity? Duh, that's just stupid. Because they don't understand anything. Children don't listen to these liars, these ignorant fools, who say that the sun is just flying around up in the sky, wing, wing, forever and ever, for no reason. There's no laws of physics. It's just exactly day and night for thousands of years, for no, just a few miles up there, right? And somehow or another, when the sun comes near us, it makes the entire half of the earth light, right? On a disk. But the laws of physics that they could even understand is that light rays will travel in a straight line unless they're blocked by something. So if the sun is up in the sky and it's a flat disk, then we're going to see light from that sun no matter what. You bring a little dinky candle into a room and it still lights the room up, even if it's a dim candle. You can still see some light. You can see stars in the darkness, even just little twinkling stars. But somehow or another, you can't see that sun, because somehow or another the sun is so close to the horizon, to the flat surface. It's that close in their mind that if it goes more than a couple thousand miles away, this big burning globe just disappears behind the clouds. Whoa! Wow! What kind of an explanation? It's ridiculous. See, if there is a curvature, then that sun's going down. It just takes a few, maybe 2,000-3,000 miles, it goes down. Probably no more than 10 hours, and it's gone down. So it's not very far. We know that when it goes down and it's dark here, it's light in Australia, it's light in China, and it's light all the way up in Japan. The whole half of the earth is light. But if it's just a spotlight shining down, it would be a round area of light, and there'd still be darkness in Japan and darkness in Australia. But China would have light. That's what would actually happen if your little idea of a big ball up there was real. But see, what's holding the ball up there? What's causing the ball to move? What makes it go in these patterns? Well, we don't know, Dave. But it's darn sure not a globe, and Newton didn't know anything about science, and all your laws of physics are just mute because we don't understand them. That's childish. But then he decides that he's going to prove this. And so he gets in his kitchen. He's got this countertop, which I guess represents the flat earth. And he puts all these bottles and jars and I don't know what else on the counter, like to be mountains and stuff. And then he has a string going across from one end of the counter to the other end of the kitchen. And he has this light that looks like looks like a flashlight, but at the end of it's a big round ball. And he moves that along the string, and it gets further away. But he puts the camera down, like if this is the counter right here. He puts the camera down below the line, see? Here's the line. So he's got the camera and the sun down at the plane level of this disk. But the sun is 93 million miles way in the air, and therefore it could never appear to go down, okay, unless you skew it by putting the camera at the camera level and the sun down here at the level of this plane. So they're showing then the camera at the level of the earth, if it were flat, and if it were, and the sun was just a little ways, a few thousand miles in the air, yeah, it would look like it would go down, perhaps, because right in front of you, the earth is going to look like it's bigger, and things look further away, right, further in the distance. But the actual sun, you see, is not right there, just above the flat earth. Okay, the actual sun is 93 million miles away, and the earth is a globe. And they've got the sun practically at ground level. On top of that, if you look at his little skit, he's got this, he shows a picture with him bringing the ball down, and the string is sagging. Okay, so of course, if you're going to follow the string and the string is sagging, it's going to appear to go down. That was not a scientific demonstration, folks. It's a foolish, ignorant bunch of garbage that this man in his kitchen with some string and some plastic fruit and a couple of wine bottles is going to prove to you that all of the scientists, Pythagoras, Aristotle, Newton, Copernicus, and all of the, Jesus Christ, the Bible, the Quran, which says the earth is egg-shaped, the Vedas, the Book of Thoth, all of the ancient wisdom is a bunch of hogwash. People keep repeating this garbage. I was wrong because water's not pliable, and the only reason that water doesn't find its level when it's in a balloon is because it's being forced into that shape of the balloon. But when it's not in the balloon, it will always find level. But and then some of these people will come on and, Nanny, don't you understand? We're not in a balloon, Dave. We're not inside of a balloon. No, but we're inside of a force called gravity. Things fall to the ground. So, somewhere during his description, he mentions that he agreed with me that the reason things fall is because of density. And he did say that he agreed that there is such a thing as electrons. This is electrical charge. And that mass has electrical charge. And it's electrostatic, or whatever he calls it. It's electromagnetism, or so what does that mean? It means that when there's more electrons, it has more charge, and therefore it attracts more. He just described gravity. But the other thing is that if you admit that there's such a thing as atoms and electrons flying around each other, what causes them to fly around each other? Why don't they collide? Because of the gravity, they keep an exact distance from each other. All these little molecules, electrons and neutrons and protons. You say, well, why do they rotate like that? All these different speeds. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. What he just admitted that there is such a thing. It's the only way to explain this thing called gravity, and he admits that. But then he can't admit that there might be in the universe the same principles as these atoms with all these particles flying around each other, with holding in this gravitational field called an atom, and then a compound or an element or anything. He agrees and he believes in all these elements and compounds and atoms and stuff, but he doesn't want to believe in the solar system and the galaxies. They don't exist. See, it's very logical to assume we're not big enough to go out in space to see the galaxy. And so they show us pictures, CGI, of galaxies. We can't see galaxies. I mean, you can see them with a telescope, but if you use the highest powered telescope we have today, which I'm sure is very high powered, they do have gamma rays, guys, which is different than light waves, but they do have a way to see way out there. Whether or not you want to believe that. But they can take some kind of rudimentary pictures. They're not going to be in color, so they do have to use a little CGI to show it as a demonstration, to show us what it would look like if we could view it with our eyes, but with the light waves. But we can't view it with light waves because we can't see that far because they're too small. We have to bring them into focus, and the best telescope we have won't bring them close enough to really view them. So we use these gamma rays and other kinds of wavelengths to take pictures. I know that's big words, and a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying, or what is a gamma wave. Well, there's microwaves and gamma waves and ultraviolet light waves. There's different kinds of waves, wavelengths. Some of them are larger and some of them are smaller. Some of them travel further out and quicker, faster. So they use different kinds of seeing to get these pictures. They don't have pictures in color, so they have to turn them into color pictures. Now, as far as there not ever being any pictures of the Earth from above, there are pictures from outer space of the Earth. We don't know that there isn't. I mean, maybe, hey, we don't know. Maybe all the pictures that we've ever seen of the Earth are all CGI. Most of them, I think a lot of them are. And I think the reason for that is because they don't want you to see the activity going on around the Earth. They've got all these jets and high, advanced technological ships flying in and out, maybe some kind of what we think is UFOs. They don't want us to know what they've got, what they're doing. It's very classified information. So they don't show us those pictures. Because there's so many, just like if you looked in the sky and you saw all the airplanes, civilian airplanes, so many of them that you couldn't take a picture without getting an airplane in the picture. So there's so many of these other highly advanced ships out there that they're using that they don't want us to see them. That's one of the reasons. Also because it does take some very technical highly advanced camera work to even get a picture from outer space. And probably because they haven't actually gone to outer space. But yes, we can get up pretty high in the sky. You've been on an airplane, and people have taken pictures. But when you're in an airplane at 30,000 feet, it really doesn't show you much of a curvature. So there are a lot of reasons why we don't have a lot of pictures. I doubt whether they've really gone beyond 30, 40, 60, 100,000 feet or something. I don't know. I don't believe that they went to the moon. That doesn't mean that the moon doesn't exist, guys. It means that either they went there and they don't want to show pictures because it would reveal something, or there's a lot of reasons why they may be doing what they're doing. One of the reasons maybe they just don't have the technology to get there. I mean, Aristotle couldn't get there, but he still knew that the earth was round. So there's all these little arguments that they just don't understand what they're talking about. So my question to all of you who believe in the flat earth is, tell me, why is the earth a disk? What law of physics makes it a disk? And why are these circular things called the moon and the sun floating around up there? What makes them move? Why are they going in that pattern? You know? And then, oh, I think I know what it was. When I showed the picture of the Polaris and all the stars going around Polaris, and then I showed a picture of all the stars going around the South Pole star, he just put a big thing across the screen saying that's false, but he never explained or proved that it's false. It's not false. Look it up in any book. Go on the internet. Do whatever kind of investigation you want. There is a star, not exactly precisely in the center. Obviously, there's stars up in the sky in the southern hemisphere. And one of the stars has a name, and I don't know the name right off my head, top of my head. But there is a pole, southern pole star. So he's lying, or he's just ignorant. And yes, everything revolves in the southern hemisphere around that star. Now, people can say things like, "Oh, it's the same star. You're just disoriented, Dave. You're just stupid." Or, listen, guys, if that's what you think, that all the scientists are lying, that when they look over at the southern, I mean, look, it's pretty easy. You stand on the equator and look south, and you see all the stars. It is not a lie. Now, if anybody's watching this right now, or his, and goes back and watches his little demonstration, and you hear him say that lie, and then move on like it's just stupid, and he's not even gonna, it's just a big lie. Everything I said was a lie. It's not true that you look up in the sky and see the stars going around the polar star, the South Pole star. That's just not true, he says. Well, that's a lie. If you can't on your own just look it up and find out that he's lying, because now why would he lie? Because if that's true, what I said, that everything's revolving, all the heavens are revolving around the South Pole star, and all the heavens are revolving around a North Pole star, then I have to be right. I mean, obviously, not just me. What I'm saying is the globe has to be true. And he's not right. And so all of you go, all you flat earthers go, nah, I don't care. I'm holding my ears shut. I don't want to hear it. Well, then continue to be ignorant. Because that's what you are, is ignorant. If you will not accept facts of reality. There is a North Star called Polaris. There is a South Pole star. I don't know the name of it, but I will look it up if you want me to. And I'll give you the name of it in the next video that I do. I'm out here on the lake, and I don't happen to know. I don't remember. It's something like Octanus or something. But anyway, and it's just slightly off south. So in other words, it wobbles a little bit. Okay, but everything around it revolves around it, and that's a fact. And he lied about that. He has no explanation for why these sun and moon and stars are flying around up there. He has no explanation as to why the earth would be flat or a disk. And he's got so many unknowns. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's like, well, we don't know if it stops at the South Pole, keeps on going. We just don't know. Why does he have all these unknowns? Because they don't know nothing, guys. They don't know why the sun's going around and around. It's on a string, and it's just going round and around. But if it was on a string, why is there a string holding up a ball above us? Oh, because God put it there. Okay. Well, God made a globe, too. So quit asking why. God did it. right? But with the globe model, we can understand. And a lot of people are like, well, oh, so I was talking about how all these different motions would make, they claim that if all these different motions, then the water would just fall off the earth. Well, if you're on an airplane going 300 miles an hour and you're holding a glass of water, it doesn't spill, right? Well, yeah, if you threw on the brakes, it would. But that's the whole neat thing. The earth doesn't ever throw on the brakes. It's always going at a constant speed. That's the miracle that the Lord has made. For thousands of years, the earth has been going in the same orbit, in the same spin, and the same motions. They're all working together, like he talks about a gyroscope. That, because, so, yeah, if you were to hold, if you were, okay, so let's say that you were on a big bus that was the size of the earth, and it was moving at 100 miles an hour, and you could hold your cup of tea and drink it without spilling it. And it was constant, it would go at 100 miles. But on that big bus that was going 100 miles an hour in one direction, you were on a smaller bus drinking your tea, going from one side of the bus in an opposite direction than the world bus was going on. See, they're two different opposite motions. They counteract each other, and your tea would not spill. That's the reason. So stop smirking and laughing at stuff that you have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, I mean, goodness gracious, as I stand here and look at this beautiful scenery, I just feel like it's just almost ridiculous to try and have to argue things that have been common knowledge for many, many years. Any of you can look this stuff up, but you don't want to look it up. You don't want to investigate it. You know why? Because you want to believe in a flat earth. And if you want to believe in a flat earth, go ahead. But it's a very small little world you're living in, this little snow globe, right? I believe in an infinite universe. I believe in worlds beyond this, out there, somewhere, right? There's somewhere. And I believe in order to get from here to there, it is such a distance between these stars that you change consciousness to get there. These are like little bubbles of consciousness. And I believe that that is a fact, and you can come to that determination if you study the esoteric scriptures, and learn the esoteric wisdom of the scriptures. But you need the Holy Spirit to do that. And a lot of these transgenders and good is bad, bad is good, I cannot convince you that what we have known for thousands of years about our environment, that when you look at the sun going up in the east and going down in the west, your eyes are lying to you. I can't convince you because you want to believe in that. So I'm going to do another video on it to answer the questions posed in his video today, and then I'll probably stop making a lot of these videos specifically on this point. I might mention these things in passing on some of my other videos, but I probably am not going to debate any of these idiots because, you know, I was debating Daughtry, and it's to the point where he's just a fool. I can't debate fools. And David Weiss is a fool, and anybody who follows David Weiss is a fool. I'm sorry. A lot of my subscribers believe in the flat earth, and you're fools if you believe in it. And I'm telling you that because I must somehow wake you up before you end up falling off the flat earth into oblivion with your ignorance. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to look at the beautiful place that I'm standing at and enjoy it. Such a beautiful place. Oh, look at that. Blueberry. Hi. Hey. Silly doggies. Silly busters. Well, where's this little thing go? mean, this is just going into disrepair. I guess the government decided, well, the world's coming to an end anyway, so might as well just let everything fall apart. It's a shame, isn't it? That this beautiful place is just gonna crumble back into the dust. Oh, it's so beautiful. Huh. Ooh. Hello. Well, it's a little overgrown. I don't know. It must be a trail, or it was a trail, or something here, huh? Not anymore. Alright. Anyway, it's a beautiful place to go walking, that's for sure. I didn't know this was over here. Oh, look at that big heron out there in the water. Let's get a good picture of that heron. And then it looks like we're up to about almost an hour, so I'll probably just go ahead and get this loaded. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that other video with the counter to his video tonight. I'm going to try to do it today, but if not, I'll do it tomorrow. All right, guys. Let's head back. Wheelchair accessible. So beautiful. Come on, man. Come on, man. Guys, you know, this oil, one more thing before we go here. I mean, this is serious what they're saying about the oil. I was thinking when they were saying we had 24 days left of diesel, that they meant just here in the eastern part of the United States, but they're saying the whole United States has only got 25 days, 5 days ago. So I guess it's like 19 or 20 days left now. And Tucker Carlson had a program about it. It says, look, when we're out, everything will stop. It's the end of the world. Can you believe they said that? We're done, he said. Then I got to thinking about it. Now, wait a minute. And he says, by the way, they're not even talking about it in Congress. There's nobody going to have a solution. Nobody cares, right? He showed pictures of the press secretary being asked questions like, what are we going to do? And it's like, oh, well, whatever, you know. It's like, okay, we're all going to die, whatever, you know. It's like, hey, aren't you trying to have peace over there in the Ukraine, or do you want nuclear war? Ah, well, whatever. You know, it's just ridiculous what's going on. So, I was thinking about it. I was thinking, wait a minute. The election happens November the 8th. And if they have scheduled Congress to be swept by the Republicans and the Senate, if the Republicans, as they're projected to do, take both the House and the Senate, I believe what will happen is they'll convene an impeachment. They'll have to impeach both Biden and Kamala and Pelosi. Well, she won't be in power if the Senate goes to the if the House goes to the Republicans anyway, she'll step down or something. I think she'll just step down. And so that would actually put if they impeached both Biden and Kamala because of the fact that they're killing us, right? They didn't do anything and we're out of diesel. And they're going to war, nuclear war on purpose. They'll have some, something like this. They'll get rid of Kamala, they'll get rid of Biden. Pelosi will step down. The Speaker of the House, the Republican guy, will be president until they'll probably have to convene and, declare that we've got to have a new election, or maybe the states, like certain states will, declare certain laws that I don't know if we've ever even done this before very often, but the states do have certain powers that they can sort of, in an emergency, take control of their own state, and the states, if there's enough states that disagree, I don't know, they got some kind of laws that they can pull off. I think there's going to be some huge things going down, because it will be an emergency, and when this happens and there's no more food in the stores, they're going to have to do something quick. So get ready for an impeachment, for some session of the House and Senate to come and make some sweeping changes and usher in the Antichrist or something, or war, or who knows. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and head back to the house, get it loaded. See you guys tomorrow. Lord bless you. Have a good one.